Here's a question. Can your business remember anything without your brain? Mm, if you walked out right now, could it recall why that project failed last quarter? Does it know the preferences of your best client? Why you stopped using a certain vendor? If not, then you don't have a memory system, and that's why you can't take a vacation. Memory is one of the most important parts of every service provider's business. You've probably heard people talk about documentation, SOPs, knowledge bases. Memory is not just that, right? It's more than just writing things down. It's how you preserve and maintain that context as you learn from experience and use that, right? It has to be available to inform your better decisions over time. But all of this occurring without you being in the room. Right now, you are the memory system. Every client preference, every lesson learned, every time you tried something and it didn't work out, that lives in your head by default. And it creates three particular problems. One, makes it harder for you to delegate. Not because you're bad at delegation, but because the stuff that you need to hand off is not material. It's all present in your head. Number two is that you might repeat mistakes, right? Something that went sideways 6 months ago, maybe you learned from it in the moment, but did that get really hard coded into your business? If a contractor or a virtual assistant faces the same situation, will they make that same mistake? Problem three is that you have scaling trouble because every new client, every new hire, every new project just starts from zero. There is a lack of institutional knowledge, and you're not really able to compound on top of your experiences. You're just explaining the same things over and over. Here's some red flags to let you know that your memory system might be broken. If you start every project from scratch, right? If you don't have templates that you can pull from what worked before, right? If you have to ask clients to remind you of a past conversation, or if you find yourself saying, only I know how to do this, then you might be having a memory failure in your business. You might have solved the same problem 3 times and never wrote down a solution, right? So if you have team members who you find asking the same questions, or even customers asking the same questions, there's nothing about them and their quality, right? But if the answers are not available to them without your help, they're going to continue to have that dependency. So a real memory system captures 5 things. 1, it captures your client intelligence, their preferences, their history, personal details, their communication style. Again, not in your head, but in a system that everyone can access. Your project learnings of what worked, what didn't work, what you would do differently after every project, every single time, just a record, right? And your decision rationale. So not just the critical thinking and the decisions that you made, but 6 months from now, 6 years from now, you'll remember why you chose a vendor. When the context is seemingly absent from your environment, your record stays there. So you're gonna need to capture the most valuable data that your business generates, and that would be your advantage, because most people never capture it. Tribal knowledge, the stuff that everyone knows, except they don't when their cues aren't there. And the thing that you have to remember is that after every client interaction, call, meeting, email, just 3 things you need to log. Just 1 personal detail, 1 preference of their, 1 potential issue. Taking those 30 seconds and making that a regular practice, you'll have such a boatload of data before you know it that it will be impossible to go outside of the guardrails of what you've put together. Because when you hand off that client to someone else, they'll be able to look at that context. And that's the memory. Even if it's just one-liners, aphorisms, it produces real power and the culture of your organization. Now, memory is also the bridge between human knowledge and AI capability, because the AI can only learn from what's been captured. If your knowledge lives in your head, then the AI can't access it. You can buy the best AI tools on the market, but they're going to produce garbage if there's no memory system feeding them context. And this is why I say you need to take care of those 4 foundation systems before you scale, before you look at AI and automation and anything else. You have to make sure that your organization has memory. And that's what makes everything else work. Because when you eventually implement AI in your business, and you should, the quality of the output will be directly proportional to the quality of your memory system. Good memory in, good AI out. No memory in, hallucinated nonsense out. This memory system can become your competitive moat, right? It is an advantage in the marketplace because it compounds. You've been grinding, sweating, maybe suffering, but every logged interaction, right? Every time you capture a lesson or you document some mode of failure, your business becomes smarter. Not just you becoming smarter, which of course you will, but your business, this asset, this entity outside of you, which includes you, becomes smarter. So that 2 years from now, when a new competitor enters your space, they're talented, maybe more talented than you, but you have 2 or more years of institutional memory, 2 or more years of lessons, 2 or more years of client context. They're starting from 0, but you have something that no one can copy, as long as you keep it secure. That's a separate conversation. So if you want to know which out of these 8 systems we've discussed is your weakest, then you need to take the free scorecard down in the description. In 5 minutes, it'll let you know exactly where you need to start.